everybody, and welcome again to the T4R podcast. We're on season 3, episode 3. My name is John. I'm a Saha resident and also a member of the T4R Scrutiny panel who brings you this podcast. We've got Mary and David here with us again today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves now. Mary.
Hi, my name's Mary. I'm a member of the Customer Insight team and the Customer Insight Officer for Saha. Our team deals with everything to do with getting involved and resident involvement. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, everybody. My name's David. You'll know me by now. I'm a Saha resident and currently chair of T4R Scrutiny panel. Back to you, John.
Thank you, David. We've got a couple of special guests with us today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you all. I will start with Jane.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. My name's Jane and I work for a women's project in the South East.
Thank you very much. And our other guest, Trish.
Hi, I'm Trish. I work in Manchester at the Limes Homeless Hostel for Men.
And now back over to Mary.
Thanks, John. Great to have both Jane and Trish with us today. And we are again going to be asking some questions of both of you around what you do and how you might feel that you help to transform lives. And just to kind of set us up, I thought it would be a good idea to repeat our mission statement, which is to transform lives by providing solutions to homelessness and enabling people to develop and achieve their full potential. Bearing in mind that we're going to ask you some questions, I'm going to hand over to Dave. The main part of the questions will be around that sort of thing. Okay, David, so over to you to ask questions of our lovely guests.
Super. Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome, Jane. Welcome, Trish. Lovely to have you here with us today. Jane, if I can ask you a question first, what is your actual role within Saha?
I'm a project manager at a women's refuge in the South.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Trish, I'm going to ask you a very similar question. What's your role and how is Saha's mission of transforming lives impacting upon yourself and the people that you provide services for?
I'm an events coordinator or activities coordinator stroke support worker at the Limes, where I've been for 19 years. And just going over the mission statement, I think it really gets to the heart of why we're all here. It really depicts what we're about. It's quite heartening, really. And, I find it encouraging, really. Words come easy. Actions cost a lot more. But, it does translate. It does come right down to equipping the staff, training the staff, giving the resources. And that does happen. The residents are at the heart of everything we do. And it's great to know that the needs are understood and we're given every tool that we need to carry out the mission statement. So, I'm quite encouraged by it.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I'm just going to go back to Jane. Can you tell us what services that you and your team actually provide and how transforming lives is impacting upon that?
We provide temporary supported accommodation for single women or women and their children who are fleeing domestic abuse from their partners or husbands. We also support women fleeing honour-based violence from their husbands or families, and we give the very best level of support that we possibly can, which is how transforming lives comes into it. The support can include emotional support, awareness of abusive behaviours, practical things like helping clients, supporting them to apply for benefits, personal safety, physical and mental health needs, and also support in securing permanent move-on accommodation. The list isn't exhaustive. We would support clients with any particular needs that they might have, some of which can be very different. And this is the way that we're transforming lives. It is at the heart of what we do.
Fantastic. So would it be fair to say then that within your role, you can actually see transforming lives happening there and there and in front of you?
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much. Back over to you, Trish. You mentioned that you haven't been in work. Obviously, I presume then that you're working from home. How is that impacting upon your role and your ability to deliver the services?
I only work part-time, and I've been really well supported by my manager, and Saha have been absolutely brilliant through a difficult time. Even so, it has been difficult at times, so isolating, working from home and just on a computer. But there's a lot of positives come out of it. When you're in the office, it's a very busy place, people interrupting you, phone calls. But to be at home and to be on your own, you can really get to grips with whatever you're doing. You can put more thought into it. You can study more. You can research more. And I found it so beneficial at times, even though it can be, like I say, cut off from the team, cut off from the residents is the worst thing. But, we're working towards doing something even better when we get back to normality, whatever that is. And hopefully it will be soon. There has been some negatives, but there's an awful lot of positives. We can move forward with a greater understanding, I think, and new things will come out of it. It's not been all bad. I'm thinking this will be good for the residents and be good for the staff, all that's happened. It's easy to focus on the negatives and the moans and groans, and that aside, we can move forward with some good things.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. That's lovely to hear. And I fully agree that Saha have been very, very supportive throughout this. Jane, back to you. How do you see your department in 18 months' time, and what areas improvement would you specifically like to see?
I think, like everyone else, I'd like to see things go back to some sort of normality, mainly because also we can then sort of resume proper resident activities and involvement, which are always very important, of course, residents' meetings. We have to do everything, social distancing with all PPE and everything now. But, I'm confident that it will go back to some sort of normality. We've also always got plans here for what we're going to do. We're planning to change a storage room into a quiet room for residents to go to if they just need a break. We've got brilliant children's worker, family support worker who sort of would mind the children if somebody needs to take a little bit of time out. So we managed to get a grant to furnish that. So we've started already. So there's always exciting things to do here for the residents.
Thank you very much. That's really great. Back to you, Trish, a question for you. If you could make one change within your work, what would that change actually be?
Well, you know what? That could be 25 different answers to that, couldn't it? But I think just to go back to being with the residents, being in the hub of everything, what's going on, getting to know the residents, getting alongside them to support them in all the areas that they need help. We do have some training. We do have places that provide these sorts of courses. We do have some ad hoc stuff going on, but I thought it would be good to have a programme, more training, more education in-house to equip them for when they move on, when they move out, they're better equipped and more educated than when they came in.
Lovely, fantastic. One of the things that the T4R Scrutiny panel have talked about for quite some time, really, is actually how do we get more residents involved and inclusive into things, and I quite agree that is the way to go. Jane, back to you. What is the best part of your role?
I think it's got to be because when women first arrive here, their confidence and self-esteem has been so diminished. They really, really are at a low ebb. Seeing the transformation in the women and how their confidence has come back up, their self-esteem, they're able to handle practical things much more easily themselves rather than us having to support them. And it's just, it is all about transforming lives. It's just so rewarding. So, yeah, that's got to be the best thing. It always will be.
Excellent. Thanks very much indeed. So, Trish, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is the best part of your role? Absolutely
the same answer as Jane. We work with different clients and we have 16-year-old rough sleepers. Some of them, they've suffered things that it just shouldn't happen to young people, but just the most rewarding place to be when you can put something back in. Not everybody, some of the horrific things, but, it's such a privilege to be on the front line and to work with these people. And no matter how small your input, that you're putting something back. and increasing their value of themselves. And you've got such an opportunity to do so much to help somebody along their journey, along their path. It is such a privileged place to be. It's an honour, I think. I'm where I am because that's where I want to be, and because there's just so much, there's so many good outcomes, there's so many stories to be told, there's so much going on, and it's so rewarding. And I just love the place, actually. I love the residents.
That's excellent. Well, thank you very much. That's all the questions I've got. So thank you, Jane and Trish, for your candour, and thank you for your input. I'm sure we'll love to have you back at some future stage if you're willing to come and talk to us again. I'm going to hand over now to Mary, I think, who's got a couple of questions for you.
Yes, I have. Yeah, thanks ever so much for what you've been saying. It's been great to hear your answers to the questions. My first question is to Jane. It's about men's services. The focus is very much on women's services, and understandably the numbers are much higher. But I just wondered whether you had experience of men's services, whether Saha run one, how you might refer someone if they had a problem.
Yes, we have noticed over the last couple of years that because if we have a vacancy coming up, we advertise it on the database. And when we've advertised vacancies, we're getting more and more referral inquiries for men. There are very few refuges for men in the country, so that's obviously a problem that's growing. We did actually trial having a man here a few years ago, but unfortunately it didn't work out very well, so we haven't explored that any further for the time being. But there is definitely a need for male victims of domestic abuse. There's not a lot of places they can go, as far as I'm aware. There is an organisation called Mankind, I think it's called Mankind, where men can make contact.
It's great that the service has had an opportunity to at least give it a go with having a male resident. Sometimes these things don't work out. It might be an opportunity to say that at the end of the podcast, or actually when the podcast is published, we will put national phone numbers down, because I think whenever we talk about very difficult circumstances with abuse, it's a good idea to put those numbers at the end of our podcast, or certainly on the paper when we publish it.
Okay.
So yeah. So my last question is to Trish, and I was just kind of thinking about and reflecting on the fact that you're kind of an activities coordinator and you're working from home. So I was just wondering, Trish, what your plan is, what the first thing you might do when you finally get back to work.
Oh yes, I can't wait. I'd just like to get back into. We did talk English classes. There was cooking going on. There was all sorts of sports going on. But while I've been busy at home, I've hooked up with quite a few new communal ventures roundabout in the area. One called Hideout, free gym, free all sorts of free training in basketball and free coaching, basketball and all sorts of sports. So it'd be really good to get the lads all active again and get a full days where there's lots of activities so that they're not isolated in the room and they can get back together again. It's been hard for the residents isolated in the rooms and not getting together. And I really look forward to that. I think we've got an improved schedule, really.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to John now.
Thank you very much, Mary. That's been quite an informative session. There's things there I didn't know and never even thought about. So it just shows you how wide a coverage Saha has with transforming people's lives. So I'm just going to ask another little question. With all this COVID and everybody, you were talking about mental health earlier on as well. What is it you do yourself in these times of having to stay at home? Do you have any hobbies or anything like that you partake in?
I do. I belong to a church of maybe 70 or 80 people, and we've had a morning Skype meeting, quite informal, chatty, and that's been absolutely a lifeline. It goes on for 5 days a week. We're just all chatting, and it's surprising that you've known people for years, but really on this Skype, you've really got to know people. Sometimes it goes on till 1 o'clock, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I've got to get off this because you're chatting for so long.
So it's a coffee meeting, basically, without the meeting.
Yeah, Yes,
as such.
coffee morning. I also like to sketch, but I'm absolutely appalled at how much time I spend on WhatsApp with these TikTok jokes and these video clips, just trying to, turn the phone off and, do something more worthwhile, really.
The thing is, it's the nearest thing to grab, isn't it? When you feel like you need to be entertained by something, you've got your phone in your hand and you straight onto YouTube. I mean, I'm terrible for YouTube. I just watch non-stop videos on YouTube of various subjects and stuff I still didn't know about. I'm learning just through that every day. So it's quite an amazing, amazing thing to have the internet as it is these days.
We've actually been coming into the project throughout the whole pandemic, which I think most of us actually prefer, because it sort of makes everything a bit more normal for us. Obviously we social distance where we can, etc. But the main thing, both at work with the staff team will get on really well together to try and lighten things up when we can and have a laugh. And at home, certainly looking for positives, looking for things that are hopeful, like spring's around the corner, the bulbs are coming up, etc. And also to have a good laugh at home, watch lots of comedies and just try and keep everything a bit lighter. I think that's important.
Now I just interrupt. The line carries on, it is staffed. It's only me. I'm the only one that's been shielding at home because of a health condition. So everybody else is in work on the front line.
Okay, so I do believe we are very close to the end of this podcast now, but I want to thank both of our guests here for their input today. I'm going to go back to David because he's very quiet on the end there. Is he just asleep, Mary?
No, I think he's gone. I actually do think he. I'm sure he hasn't.
Yeah, David.
Hello.
Hello.
I was really engrossed in what our two lovely guests were saying today. It's been a really good session today. So no, I wasn't sleeping.
Mary, anything more from you to ask?
No, that's it. I've asked the questions. I would just like to say thanks to the guests and goodbye from me, actually. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Really nice opportunity to give our views and everything. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so thank you very much again to everybody. This is, as I said, the end of our podcast for today. I'm going to say goodbye. David.
Yes, goodbye from me and thank you for listening. See you next time.
Thanks, John. Yes, goodbye from me again and see you at Series 3, number 4, where we'll have some more guests, which will be great.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye. Hello everybody and welcome again to the T4R podcast. We're on season 3, episode 3. My name is John. I'm a Saha resident and also a member of the T4R Scrutiny panel who brings you this podcast. We've got Mary and David here with us again today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves now. Mary.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Mary. I'm a member of the Customer Insight team and the Customer Insight Officer for Saha. Our team deals with everything to do with getting involved and resident involvement. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, everybody. Yep, my name's David. You'll know me by now. I'm a Saha resident and currently chair of T4R Scrutiny panel. Back to you, John.
Thank you, David. We've got a couple of special guests with us today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you all. I'll start with Jane.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. My name's Jane and I work for a women's project in the South East.
Thank you very much. And our other guest, Trish.
Hi, I'm Trish.